Hey guys. Oh God. I'm laughing at myself because so it's nighttime here and um excuse me. Uh last time I can't remember what time of day it was, but sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. But somehow I had to readjust the light. I feel like a lighting technician. I was all like, "Doo-doo-doo," just so you could see me, because otherwise, I mean, it's just me here. So I'm like, I'm a lighting. I gotta do everything around here. Let me tell you. But anyway, I had this. This is like a had its own thing. It's because it's an octopus lamp. So many trials and tribulations in the lighting category. Let me tell you. But that's the whole thing about this because we're all figuring out the video. I just came from, this is almost sounds cliche, I just came from a Zoom yoga class and I'm really enjoying that. We're all learning it together and it's been pretty cool. And some of these things are going to continue. And then and then I went to a live stream event, a hip hop friend of mine from open mic. Um, he did a live stream thing for the first time, and he was saying that too. That it was cool that other people were joining in that weren't necessarily in Portland, and so yeah. Anyway, and now I'm here, and really what I wanted to talk about is I wanted to get back into the bodega a little bit because that's really what I had been trying to start to segue into because I had just dropped all that material. I haven't really written about it yet, and I had just refocused my energies, and it just somehow wasn't timing. I don't know, but in any case, I want to tell you guys a little bit. This is the video about the bodega origins. So my friend was asking me, did you, she was like, what happened? Like, how did you become bodega lady? Did you do that so that you could write about it? And I was like, no, I just needed a job. And I didn't write about it for like a couple months. But the the backstory on that is because when you're a writer and you have to reinvent yourself, it's kind of that irony of like, don't quit your day job, but what if your day job is writing? And so I had to reinvent myself in 2010, so about 10 years ago. And as a lot of print journalists did. And a lot of the things I explored, I did different types of writing. I went into corporate America and was a copywriter, and I was at a PR agency on staff for a year, and just trying out all these kinds of things within the writing, and some of that I still do, and now I'm back into journalism. But for a time, I tried on completely different things. I was a dog walker for 2 years, for example, and I burned out on that because 2 years, there's a lot involved in dog walking. I feel like a superhero, right? I'll tell you guys about that aspect sometime because I haven't even written about that either. But then I was trying to get back into writing full time. For some reason, the timing wasn't right, what have you. In hindsight, I just didn't know what was happening. I was just spiraling, and I was like, this isn't working. I need to get a job. But what kind of skill? Like, I don't really have many skills. I mean, I admire those writers who are like knitters and cooker. I don't know, gardeners. No, I really am a one trick pony. I'm an idiot savant. All I can do is write. Really, that's what I thought. But then, having been a dog walker, I'm like, all right, I feel like I could do. It gave me confidence I could do something else. But so I kind of analyze it like I was in this phase where I'm like, God damn it, I just wish I could work at Pizza Hut. I loved Pizza Hut. It was blast, man. Like, I have fond memories in my polyester, like jumping on cardboard in the dumpster. And I'm not kidding. I took great pride in breaking down boxes, and I made the dough, and I loved it. So I was like, why can't I just work at Pizza Hut? And people were like, what are you talking about? What's up with you and Pizza Hut? I'm like, Pizza Hut symbolized something like a simpler time, of just like, why can't I just work at somewhere like that? It was awesome. Um, But I literally, I tried to work at Pizza Hut, but no one was hiring. And so, it was just, the reason I'm laughing, it was a funny period in my life because I was like, just like open for anything. And that was the cool part, it's like, hey, I actually almost was a gas station attendant. And in Oregon, you had to pump gas. And I almost did it, but I was kind of hesitant because I'm afraid of pumping gas. And so maybe that's just not a good idea. I was like, I kind of am afraid I'll set myself on fire. And my friend was like, I don't think you can do that. But even still, I was just open for anything. And I got a job offer there and I contemplated it. And, but because of that, I was like, God, I wish I could just work somewhere in the neighborhood. That was my criteria, in the neighborhood. And, because I was analyzing bartenders and stuff. I'm like, for half a second, I was like, yeah, I could do it. No, too complicated. Just like, no. So I'd like cross off all the other things. And it was slim pickings, man. I mean, I can't, I really don't have a lot of qualifications. So, this job, okay, so it was the corner store. It was the corner store that I would go to, So I knew the owner. She's Korean, and we would have jokes like, because what do you buy at the corner store? For me, it's tampons and boxed wine. And at the time, cigarettes. I don't smoke anymore. And I don't drink anymore, actually, either. This is non-alcoholic. An advertisement for Caliber. In any case, we had a joke about my cigarette. I would smoke wings because they were the cheapest, and she's like, "Oh, wings! If dogs could," and her dog was always there. We're like, "Do you want to fly too? When dogs have wings," I don't know. We just had like jokes, and like I buy tampons. She's like, "Oh, I don't have to work. You must be really grumpy today." She was funny, So I at least knew her, but I had noticed that there was a Help Wanted sign, but I was a little trepidatious only because right next to the Help Wanted sign was a sign that said, "Have you seen this man?" with a surveillance photo. So I obviously knew that those things were connected. So I was kind of like, hey, after the third time I saw the sign, I was like, hey, are you hiring? And what's up with the sign? And anyway, it was a long process of getting that job. I'll tell you guys later about that because it was classic. Like I had to totally prove to her that I wanted it because she knew me as the girl in the sundresses buying box wine. And I was like, no, I was a dog walker for 2 years and I lived it. She's like, you need to be tough. And she told me the story and it sounded kind of innocuous, to be honest. And she just said, nothing really happens. You just need to be tough with customers because people will try to one-up you. People will test you. And I was like, I lived in New York for 8 years. And so she was kind of thinking about it, but it took me, I had to like really circle around it before she was going to call me. And so I got the job. And, oh God, whoa, where to begin? Okay, so I think what I want to do is just, because there's so much, it's almost overwhelming to even open this Pandora's box, or whatever you call it, I don't even know. But, okay, so maybe some highlights would be that I did everything wrong my first month. Setting off the alarm, forgetting to set off the alarm. I left the door unlocked one time. My till was always off. Oh God, lottery machine. I lost sleep over the lottery machine. My till with the lottery machine was classic. I mean, you barely got any training, So there was a lot of pain points in this job. Oh yeah, the cooler had no bell, so you couldn't see. You had to pretend that you saw customers when you were stocking in the back. And you didn't, and sometimes people would be in your store. They could have walked right in. I mean, that was actually really spooky when you can't hear or see anything. And my boss was just like, "Oh yeah, you just kind of like look around the beer and you kind of like make it a game." Like, oh my God, mean, that was spooky, especially when you're in the store and you're like stocking beer and you don't think anyone is in there, because I thought I was pretty good at it for a while, and then someone's in front of you getting beer. Oh my god, my heart would race, and then I'd just pretend like I'm calm as a cuke, and that's when I knew I really had gotten the job. Like when I could just be like, oh, as if I'd seen them. And when I didn't have to clutch my alarm code every time I maniacally like ran into the store, to set the alarm, to turn it off so that, oh my god, so that I didn't set it off. That was terrifying. I started to one by one get the hang of the job. But the biggest hurdle, the one that I was most most proud of, I think, is, that's why I call it a bodega, because it's not just a 7-Eleven or a plaid pantry. That's what is important. It's a corner store. So bodega, I know it from Brooklyn because I used to live there, and it definitely is more of a community spot. People are hanging out there. They're playing cards in the back. God, I lived in a Puerto Rican neighborhood, and yeah, I just remember they would, this one guy, the guy across the street, he didn't speak English, we just like point, and there's always someone hanging out with him in the store, and you just got a feeling like there was a lot going, there was probably like a speakeasy back there or whatever, So this was like really akin to it, and also it's a strange area that I live in, and it's an awesome area, but right where the store is, somebody described it really well. He's like, oh, that's where like the North and the South Portland collide. And I'm like, yes. I'm like, literally, that's where it comes together. But then also, it's just kind of this funny area of like really diverse. Like I had never seen, not even in my New York days, It's heavily Vietnamese. It was owned by Koreans, not as Korean heavy, but lots of Asians, mainly Vietnamese though. Africans, like Ethiopians across the street, a lot of Africans, mostly Ethiopians, I think. African American, Hispanic, a little bit. What else? No, I mean, it was like a cross section of all types of people that you don't get anywhere. Like it was remarkable, actually. So that was interesting. But then it was also, I think my greatest pride was to finally figure out like who the regulars were, and because people would use it as their community, and they taught me how they used that store, and it was super cool. Sometimes I'd see people like 3 times on a shift, and I knew their life story. I still know them. I still, like, this past year, 2019, it was a really tough year for me, and a lot of my customers, not a lot of them, but there's a handful of them who were actually really pivotal for me. In this year, so it's been a year since I've worked there, right? And that's why when I was saying the intro video, like, at first it was the daily dispatches, and then I kind of segued into a whole different realm under the Bodega Lady name, and now kind of bringing it back under the umbrella of community. And so I'll leave you with that, but my just a kind of an intro into a little bit of what I'll be talking about, because I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I didn't really know where to begin tonight, and I just began. I gave you a little glimpse, but it really, I have to say, I really felt like a superhero when I could pull down a pack. When I'd see John with the red pickup, and he'd just come in, and I just knew to pull down the 3 packs of Blue Pyramid cigarettes. And we didn't even have to talk. It was awesome. So I have many of those types of stories, and yeah, that's about it tonight. I have no idea how long this is. I'd like to keep it like, this is all work in progress. I mean, who cares? I mean, not who cares, but I'd like to keep it at 10 minutes or something, so I have no idea. But, not bad. Oh, well, 14 minutes. Okay. Well, hey, Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you later. I think the next video I'll be delving more into the bodega, and we'll see where it goes. All right. See you later. See if this video thing works.